こんにちは、堀江です。
Fix the cavity by 3 points of methods. December 21st, 2019. Hateful Kimito of the dentist. The video which cured an early cavity with a former video disclosed repair the cavity by oneself, but recommended that I went to a dentist about the big cavity of the hole. However, the loss of the cavity was a big case, but tried it as a technique to deal appeared. It is a method to use the ultraviolet rays hardening resin, and the pivot blocks up the hole of the cavity with 3 points of methods. I do not pull the nerve of the cavity, and 3 points of methods are methods to cut down medicine, and to close the cap of, and in late years the dealing dentists increase remarkably. Well, it is the ultraviolet rays hardening resin of the new technology, but I apply liquid resin, plastic, on an affected part and let you irradiate ultraviolet rays and solidify and mold it, and it is a technique to make up for tooth missing, and, in fact, all dentists carry it out. A new technology says that this kit, e.g., bond $30, has begun to be marketed. Of course, warning that I do not use it for it is for dentistry is listed. However, what I test by a self-responsibility to oneself is always possible. Therefore I tried how much effect there was. The treatment of the cavity is long-time technical accumulation and is not the thing which I can easily imitate. I can easily see the treatment that the current dentist gives and am a result of the history that fought strangely of the human body. That is why me method followed the method of the dentist, too, and it is simple, but carries out 3 points of methods carefully. The method is first and brushes my teeth, and it cleans the outskirts. To the second, I perform the cleaning in the cavity. To the third, I dry it. To the fourth, checkmate medicine. To the fifth, I add liquid resin to a toothbrush or a toothpick in small quantities. To the sixth, I paint a cavity with this. I allot ultraviolet rays for the seventh. I repeat the seventh from this fifth 5 times. To the eighth, I sterilize it. I say this. A working hour is approximately 30 minutes, but preparations take time plenty. You disclose below the details of my enforcement of this time, but please actually transfer him to the person who does not do cavity forming till the last as you think that it is boring. Finally I list an impression. The corner of the impression. Finally I speak the impression about the repair of this cavity. It was first, and resin which hardened was considerably strong, and I felt that I was as effective as a dentist, but it was difficult, and the work to perform in oneself alone in comparison with a dentist seeing it directly, and being able to work finely was the small situation that I could not adjust it to. It smooths off the surface of the tooth after the restoration, and it cannot match a professional dentist to improve the appearance. However, I think that it is the means that is effective for a poor person if I think about a period to go to an expense and the dentist. As I do it by oneself, the second can work any time again and again. However, it was front tooth, and this restoration point was extremely the place that was easy to work. I do not have an idea how effective coating with resin is for the third. A dentist may be effective for 1 year, but will be the place where 3 months are good by my arm. However, I am enough as I can do it by oneself if I repeat restoration again. Last but not least, this work is unrelated to the medicine by a folk remedy. Please go by a self-responsibility. The responsibility about the result is the place where I am not concerned with. However, I am convinced that it is the folk remedy that is effective for a poor person. A progress report. As 1 week passed after the construction, I perform a progress report. Sterilizing it worked, and the cavity did not ache. At the time of caries, I chewed it by a contralateral tooth, but became able to bite it by the tooth of the side that was a cavity powerfully. As far as I am glad. 2 weeks passed after the construction, but noticed a curious point. In other words, the beginning of resin which I added seems to be not enough when I do toothbrushing carefully. In around 2 weeks, I need the repair. I thought that what's called perfection had nothing. It is the same as the makeup of the woman and I look into a mirror every day and should repair it. I performed the construction of the cavity which it was possible for in the rear of the back tooth afterwards, as this method was proved to be effective for coping of the cavity. This application method was effective most here, as a toothbrush did not arrive in the case of toothbrushing because resin rather adhered strongly. When toothache dissolved, as it was a long time worry, I was relieved. As I deceived it with medicine in the case of me, there was the place to appear of approximately 6 places of toothaches in oral cavity before, but it dissolved all now and came to be able to sleep soundly. When there is a toothache, a part in the brain does not seem to be able to fall asleep even if I sleep. The above. If you want to see more precisely, please check a Japanese version of this story.
ご視聴ありがとうございました。